Bordeaux, the wine capital of the world, and home to Girondins de Bordeaux. Some football clubs feel permanent. They've existed longer than most of us have been alive, and you'll just assume that they'll always be there. But football has a brutal way of reminding us that nothing is guaranteed. Because this is Bordeaux FC. It isn't just any historic club, 6 times champions of France, a club that has helped shape French football, a club that has played in the biggest stages of Europe, from champions of France to semi-professional football. What actually happened to Bordeaux? To understand Bordeaux's collapse, you have to understand just how big of a club they once were. Founded in 1881, Bordeaux became one of the pillars of French football. They've won 6 Ligue 1 titles. They built a reputation across Europe. And some of the biggest names wore this shirt. Players like Zidane, Cantona. This was a prestigious club, a powerhouse of French football. But this collapse didn't happen overnight. It was slow and it was financial. For years, Bordeaux had been operating on fragile finances, higher wages, ownership instability, and a business model heavily dependent on TV revenue. Then, in 2020, the pandemic hit, broadcast income dropped, and sponsorships weakened, and across European football, finances suddenly under pressure. For Bordeaux, these hidden cracks exploded into a full-blown crisis. In 2021, things got dramatically worse. The club was owned by an American investment company, King Street Capital Management. But after mounting financial losses during the pandemic, they pulled their funding entirely. Bordeaux were placed into administration. The club was suddenly fighting for survival. Soon after, the club was purchased by a businessman, Gerard Lopez. Lopez previously owned Lille, where his aggressive financial model had helped deliver the Ligue 1 title in 2021. At Bordeaux, he promised the same stability, but on the pitch, things immediately collapsed. That same season, Bordeaux finished bottom of Ligue 1 and then were relegated. A club that had dominated French football just a decade earlier, this was a historic fall. Bordeaux dropped into Ligue 2, but the real problems weren't on the pitch, they were in the accounts. Debts continued to grow and financial guarantees were repeatedly questioned by the France financial watchdog, the DNCG. The club remained under constant scrutiny and Bordeaux weren't just fighting for promotion, they were fighting for survival. Then, suddenly, a potential lifeline appeared. Talks between Fenway Sports Group, the owners of Liverpool FC. A takeover could have transformed the club's future overnight, but negotiations collapsed. And when that deal fell apart, Bordeaux's last major financial rescue disappeared with it. With debts mounting and funding running out, the inevitable happened. Bordeaux filed for bankruptcy. For the first time since 1937, the club gave up its professional status. Player contracts were terminated, staff lost their jobs, the training centre was shut. This wasn't just a relegation, this was a complete institutional collapse. Administratively, Bordeaux were dropped to the 4th tier of French football, Champion National 2. From Champions League nights to semi-professional football in just a few years. For reference, this is like a Premier League football team that have played in Champions Leagues, won the Premier League, due to financial problems, have been relegated to the National League. currently just walking around the streets of Bordeaux. There's a really friendly atmosphere. People are taking to the streets, having drinks with their friends. The weather is nice. Each street you walk down is another street full of beautiful buildings, a friendly atmosphere. This is an cannelé. This is the traditional Bordeaux snack. It's like a pastry, but it's a rum exterior with like a caramel inside. I personally really like it, but so let's try it. I wish we had these in England. How on earth is this stadium in the 4th tier of French football? It's currently 2 hours before kickoff and already crowds are starting to come in. We can see an ultras group heading towards us. Today, Bordeaux wear their 3rd shirt to pay homage to the 1996 season. This weekend is 30 years since their win against AC Milan in the 2nd leg of the Europa League, where they came back from 2-0 down to win 3-2.
Il y a des journées sans pouvoir voir le soleil. Il y a aussi des nuits que n'éclaire pas la lune. On peut passer de longues nuits sans sommeil et avoir la tête dans du coton quand on se réveille. Malgré tous ces soucis, tous ces problèmes, il faut observer combien la vie est encore belle.
These fans are passionate and they are proud. They're doing their job, they're getting behind the team. They're whistling to the opposition, but their support is unbelievable and they deserve so much respect. You can't really tell that they're in National 2. They're getting the ball, they're trying to get it forward, they're running with the ball. Both teams are playing really attacking football, and it's good. The extraordinary thing is, despite everything, people still show up. Even in the 4th tier of French football, Bordeaux regularly attracts crowds of more than 10,000 fans because football clubs aren't just businesses. They're history, their cities, their families, and their identity.
Ceux qui répondent toujours quand on les appelle. Malgré tous ces soucis, tous ces problèmes, il faut observer un sourire. répondent toujours quand on les appelle. Malgré tous ces soucis, tous ces problèmes, il faut observer combien la vie est encore belle.
Bordeaux say that their aim is to return to Ligue 1 around 2030. The goal is now simple. It's to rebuild slowly, promotion by promotion, no shortcuts. Because those shortcuts are what got Bordeaux here in the first place. It's what destroyed a football club. The story of Bordeaux is not over, but it is very different now. It's smaller, it's more fragile, but maybe it's more real. Because football clubs can collapse and owners can leave and money can disappear. But as long as people keep turning up, Bordeaux will still exist. It is a fascinating story, and it's one where so many people have been let down, but I think they're heading in the right direction. These fans are too big for this league. I think they need to get back to where they belong. I think football clubs get their history, they earn their history. That history that they have will never be unwritten. I think for Bordeaux, this is just a chapter in their story where things maybe haven't gone right, ownership instability, and the fans have been let down. However, I think they are heading in the right direction. I think the future for Bordeaux does look bright. I think with where they're heading, you know, they've got 10 games left of this season. It is looking likely that they will get promoted this season. I think the sooner Bordeaux do get out of this league, the better. The fans are incredible, and I think it will be okay for Bordeaux, and I think we can look back on this story in a few years when Bordeaux are back where they need to be and where they should be. We can look back on this story and it will be part of their history. It will just be another chapter in their history and the rich history that this football club does have. We can look back on this story and the issues that they have gone through they can laugh about it. The issues now will be over and they can get back to where they need to be and where they should be, and earning and creating more history, winning more trophies. For now, it is about their rebuild. They need to rebuild, get back to where they are or get back to where they should be. Then this will just be another chapter and their history will continue to grow and they will get there. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.